Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Elizabeth Tresser and I'm the Study UK Director at the British Council. Study UK is your source of practical information and insight on UK education for international students. So if you're thinking of studying at a UK university, please visit our website and someone will put a link in the chat and you can stay connected with all our news and updates on social media. We're also delighted today to welcome 3 scholarship recipients. I would really like to speak to them, talk to them about their experiences of studying in the UK and how a scholarship started them on their study pathway. I'm delighted to welcome Vi, Chima and Nadia. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. Speaking of thanks, I'd also like to thank the sponsor of today's webinar, PTE Academic. PT Academic has a website which you can find more about, and we will of course link it in the chat. For many international students, English language testing is one of the first steps in their study abroad experience. So please go to the website that will go into the chat and you can find more about PT Academic there. Okay, a couple of housekeeping rules before we start. Live Q&A is available and one of my colleagues will monitor the chat as we go through the session. So please put your questions into the chat, and if we do have time at the end, which we hope we will do, we will also put those questions to them. My colleague will also answer any questions that she can and give you an answer just in case it's something that's more specific about the UK that we don't think one of our participants will be able to respond. So what I'm going to do first is give you a bit of a presentation about scholarships. So this is this opportunity for you to have a look at what the UK has to offer, and then I'm delighted to speak to our wonderful guests today. Okay, I would just share my screen and then we can start. Okay. Brilliant. So what we're going to talk about today is scholarships and funding. So the first thing is, why are you choosing the UK? What is it about the UK that might be of interest to you and make you think about studying? The second thing that we're going to cover is funding your studies. This is really important. Making the decision to study abroad, whichever country you decide, you really need to consider how you're going to fund your studies. This isn't an easy thing to consider, and we hope today we can just cover off some of those things that might be important to you. The second thing I'd like to go over also are the scholarship opportunities. There are a few scholarship opportunities in the UK, those big national programs, but there's also other options as well. And I'm delighted that the Study UK website has a course search function and also a scholarship search function. So I'll talk about that in a little while. And then finally, it's all about sharing those experiences, and I will pose a few questions to our panel. Thank you. So our first thing, why choose the UK as a destination of study? The first thing is, and it's probably the most obvious, but it's something that really does attract international students, and it's because it's the home of the English language. And we really do. This is where all your lectures will be in English. It's where you're going to be really immersed into the language. And that's really a key reason why you should study in the UK. It is one of the most popular destinations for international students. We've got such a diverse communities across the whole of the UK, and we really do feel that you will be exposed to so many different experiences. That's why we are so popular. The third reason, it's home to some of the world's greatest cultural events and also attractions as well. I mean, even just moving outside of the centre of London, there is so much on offer, visiting Scotland, visiting Wales, Northern Ireland. It's so diverse and there's so much for you to explore. And then finally, it's a place to make memories that will last a lifetime. Any international student experience, anyone who's experienced studying in the UK will really confirm that it is a place to make those memories. So how are you going to fund your studies if you do decide that the UK is the best option for you? So there's many options available. The first thing is that you can look at for scholarships, grants, bursaries, financial awards, loans. This is really important. So when you sit down and you've decided that you want to study in the UK, and you may have already selected the university and course you'd like to study, really do start to explore what's available. There are the national scholarship programs, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, but you'll also find that some universities will also have scholarships on offer as well. You can also find out what support is available, and that's through UKESA. They're the support for international students. So you can see the website there. They give you advice on fees and money and any support that's available. So please do take the time to read that. Check university websites. So you might be thinking between two universities. Check both those websites. Really understand what's available, because that's really important when you're considering what financial assistance is available. And then finally, I mentioned it prior, Study UK website. There's so much information on there. So please do go to our Study UK website. We've really improved the functionality in the last year. So if you visited it perhaps a couple of years ago, go back to it now and really revisit it, because we have a course search there. So if you're thinking about studying history, but you're not sure where you'd like to study, we have a course search there that can help you. But in addition to that, which is a fantastic functionality, we have a scholarship search as well. So please take the time to explore that website. So there are a number of undergraduate scholarships, but they tend to be offered by institutions as opposed to these national schemes that I'll talk to you about in a minute. They're available on academic, merit and excellent, and often in subject-specific scholarships. So what I would do, if you've really made a suggestion, you really know where you want to study at a university, you've made that decision, go and really investigate what's there, have a conversation with the university, email the university and say, I'm really keen on studying geography. Are there any scholarships available? Because that will make a difference perhaps in why you're considering that university. There's also equal access or sanctuary scholarships, and you can find out more on university websites. And if you do have a disability, many universities will offer you a support package for your year abroad. So do all 3 years abroad in an undergraduate sense. So please really do reach out to those universities. Postgraduate scholarships, and a lot of the scholarships that we'll talk about today fall into that postgraduate arena. And there are a lot of options in funding for postgraduate studies. There's the UK government scholarships, Chevening, Commonwealth and Great, and I'll go through those in turn in a minute. But there's also fully funded postgraduate students can also get it for PhDs as well. So there's a website there. So please have a look at it if you're thinking of doing a PhD. Similar to undergraduates, the universities also offer postgraduate support as well. So really do look at what's available and check those institution websites for more information. So I've got some top tips for applying for scholarships, and these are just from talking to students who've already made the decision that they want to study in the UK. The first thing is do your research. This is so important and really critical if you're going to make the right decision. And to support that research, we've got the Study UK website. I know I keep mentioning it, but it is a really good source of information. You need to check eligibility criteria, make sure that you fit that scholar profile, and also consider timelines. What tends to happen with a scholarship program, they might release the date and you perhaps have a couple of months to apply, but make sure you're ready. Make sure you've got everything in place so that you're not missing that deadline. Once the deadline closes, that's it, you'll have to wait for another year. So spend time on your application, get somebody to read it for you, ask a few questions. Is there anything I've not thought about when I'm writing my personal statement? So really think about what is required. And please don't plagiarize or cheat. You will be caught out. This has to be your own personal statement, not to friends, not somebody else's. You can speak to people about it, but it really must come from what you want to say to an institution. So let me just go through a couple of the main scholarship programs that are available here in the UK. So Chevening scholarships. These were established in 1983. So they've been one of our long-standing scholarship programs here in the UK. And their aim is to develop students and develop that connection with other countries. So we really are thinking about the future leaders that might be working in another country so that we can have a positive, lasting relationship. These are really important in terms of developing professional and academic networks. And it's really that experience in the UK culture and building those positive relationships. They're available in 160 countries, and they are available for 1-year master's degrees at most universities across the UK. As you can see there, 1,500 scholarships each year are awarded, and they are available from the 2nd of August to the 1st of November. I know we've missed the deadline for this year, but preparation can start now. If you're thinking about studying in the UK in the future and you think you might be eligible for a Achieving Scholarship, please start thinking about it now and visit the website below. So what types of scholarships are offered? So the first thing, we have Achieving Scholarships and Achieving Fellowships. So there's 2 types. Achieving Scholarships are those who are thinking of doing a master's course. Achieving Fellowships are more about that professional development. So Achieving Scholarship, whatever it is, a scholarship or fellowship, you'll have full tuition fees and a monthly spending allowance. You'll have return economy travel costs, and all your visa costs will be covered. To be eligible, you must be a citizen of Achieving eligible country, and they will all be there on the website. You must have an undergraduate degree and at least 2 years work experience. Achieving Scholars about those spotting the potential. So 2 years, we have an idea of what you can achieve, and we want to see what you can achieve further on down the line. You must meet the Achieving English language requirements, which will all be on the website, and you must hold an unconditional offer from a UK university. That is essential, because by having that unconditional offer, the Achieving team know you're ready to study at a UK university, and what they're then considering is whether you've got the potential to be an Achieving Scholar. Commonwealth scholarships. This is something that's really close to my heart. I worked on Achieving Scholarships a number of years ago, and it really is a lovely scholarship program. It's about, as you can imagine, working in those Commonwealth countries, and it's supporting future leaders in the Commonwealth. It's a wonderful program, and it enables talented and motivated individuals to gain the knowledge and skills required for sustainable development. In general, it offers 700 awards each year, and it can all in the postgraduate field, but there's also professional development as well. The scholarships are offered in 6 themes of science and technology, strengthening health systems and capacity, promoting global prosperity, strengthening global peace, security and governance, strengthening resilience and response to crisis, and then access, inclusion and opportunity. So there's a lot of areas that the scholarship covers. And for more information, please visit the website here listed. We will share this deck with you so you have more information to look at in a bit more detail. So there are quite a lot of types of award. We have 7 different scholarships are offered, and we have masters, PhDs and professional fellowships as well. The Commonwealth scholarships cover tuition fees, travel and visa costs, the monthly allowance similar to Achieving, and then a thesis grant as well. Slightly different from Achieving, they also support some families for single parents, so there are family allowances as well, and those students that are coming to do a PhD. To be eligible, and I suppose it's no surprise, you do need to be a permanent resident or a citizen of a Commonwealth eligible country, and also have that undergraduate degree of at least a 2-1. And then the Great Scholarships. Now, these are very, very close to my heart, because Great Scholarships are part of the Study UK campaign, and they are jointly funded by the UK government's Great Britain campaign and the British Council, with participating UK higher education institutions. So what we do on the Great Scholarships is that we aim to widen access to UK education and provide education opportunities to students. And you can see the list of countries there. What's so exciting about these scholarships, it might be a smaller award in terms of value, but what's exciting is that we are working directly with the sector. We partner with the sector, and the sector also invest into that scholarship as well. We're offering this year, so the applications have just opened, and they'll be open now to around the end of March, end of April, depending on which institution you're applying to. We're offering 160 great scholarships, and there's also 20 for justice and law students and a further 20 for climate change as well. So please do go to our website. You can see the website here on this slide. They're for 1 year masters only, and it's that taught masters as well. The scholarship offers £10,000 contribution to your tuition fees, and to be eligible you just need to be a passport holder of an eligible country, so that was the 14 countries listed prior. You have an undergraduate degree and also meet the English language requirement of the university. So please visit our website and you can really have an explore of what is available in your country. Another scholarship that I just want to touch on as well, which is offered in partnership by the British Council, is the Women in STEM scholarships. These are aimed to benefit women from the Americas, South Asia and Southeast Asia, and they must be students who have a background in STEM. The scholarship covers tuition fees, a stipend for 15 months, allowance if you've got accompanying children, English language courses, and there's also return travel. This opportunity will open in December, so please do keep a lookout on the British Council website here. To be eligible, obviously you need to be a woman, you need to have a passport holder and permanent residence in one of the eligible countries, which will all be available on the website. You must be educated to undergraduate degree, and you also must meet the English language requirements as well. So there's a few options there to study, but there's also another, this is just my final point that I just want to highlight. There is another route. You might not be successful in the national scholarships, the government scholarships I've just talked about, but a lot of institutions have their own scholarship. A couple of examples is the Rhodes Scholarship at the University of Oxford, the Gates Cambridge Scholarship, which is available at the University of Cambridge, and also the Edinburgh Global Online Master Scholarship, which is available at the University of Edinburgh. There are many more on offer at each UK university, so they could be subject dependent, regional or country, or based just purely on academic merit. So please do visit the Study UK website, go to the scholarship search, and you can have a look at what scholarships are available. So we've come to the exciting bit of our panel now. I'd just like to introduce our three guests before we go into questions, but I'm delighted today to be joined by our first guest, Vi. She was an MSc in Climate Change Science and Policy student at the University of Bristol. She was one of our great scholars for Sustainable Futures. She's just finished her master's and she has been a youth climate activist for the last 3 years, focusing on empowering Vietnamese young people and marginalised groups in climate change. At the moment, she's a climate data analyst intern and working to mobilise climate finance. So you're very welcome, Vi, and I look forward to chatting to you in a minute. Our second guest is Chima, who has studied an MSc in Global Public Health at Newcastle University. So that's the north of the UK, if you're trying to imagine where it is on the map. Chima is now a pharmacist and a global health professional and very passionate about health systems strengthening in low and middle income countries. He is the founder of Clemic Digital Health, a startup health organisation in Nigeria. So I really do look forward to listening about that. And he was the winner of the World Health Organization Africa COVID-19 Hackathon Challenge, a Mandela Washington Fellow and a Commonwealth Scholarship alumnus. He is also serving as a global lead on health workforce policy at the International Pharmaceutical Federation. So welcome to the conversation, Chima. And finally, Nadia, who was a PhD student in computer engineering from Brunel. Dr. Nadia is the head of computer system department at the Southern Technical University in Iraq. She's also the Raspberry Pi Foundation national partner, volunteering to bring clubs to Iraq to support young females and children learning coding. Her PhD was gained at Brunel University in London, and studying in the UK advanced her professional and personal achievements. So welcome to all three guests. I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you now. So I will stop sharing and we can go to conversation. Thank you. Okay, are we ready, everybody? Okay, brilliant. Okay, so let's start then. So you've all been through your UK education, so I'm really excited just to have a chat with you today. But I'd like to start with you, Vi, if that's okay. So you're from Vietnam and it's a country I travelled to this year. So I'm really excited to find out what your experience of living in Vietnam's like. You were awarded a great scholarship in 2021. So could you tell us about your journey and studies at the University of Bristol?
Thank you, Elizabeth, for your questions. I love Vietnam. Vietnam is
I love Vietnam too.
Country. Yeah, and my journey to attend the University of Bristol is amazing. Like the master has given me so many opportunities that I will treasure for my life. So I will share with you guys today, like my journey, how do I got there. So thanks to my involved in climate advocacy, and I'm working to empower young people in my country with like important knowledge and supported climate action. I think thanks to that, I realized like I want to do a master in climate change so I can have more professional skill and can amplify my work in the future. So how did I got there? Last year, you know, the UK host the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP26 in Glasgow. And at that time, I really want to go there. So I start searching on Facebook and I click on the UK ambassador fan page of Vietnam, and the first post is about the Great Scholarship for Sustainable Future, and there's a link to Study UK website. And since then, I decided I need to get this scholarship, because not only I got fun to do my master there, but I also get a study visit to Glasgow during COP26, which I really fond of. Yeah. For great scholarship, beside beside the normal application for university, I just only need to apply directly to my uni, and I only need to write a scholarship essay, which is around 1,500 words, and that's it. So I can at first I thought, oh, it's easy, but I just, like, when I started to write the essay, I just started staring in the questions and I don't know what to write, because I have so much in my mind and nothing coming out yet. So I can share with you 3 tips that I found useful when like compose my essay. First, maybe you need to answer, it might sound cliche, but I need to answer the question like, who am I and what I want to do with my life first, so I can reflect on my own experience and see what do I enjoy the most, so I can reflect it in the essay. And I think that because of that, my essay is more personal and maybe can persuade the judge more. And secondly, if you hit the writer block like me, maybe it's better to take a break first and talk with someone you are close to, or even your mentor. And I found it's like extremely helpful if you can talk to someone in the field that you're working on, so they can give you valuable insight to construct your essay, and also like the action next, so you can give the idea into essay. And in the final tips, I will explain why you need to talk with someone who is in the field, because I found that my uni and I think all the other scholarship giver, they want you to have a clear goals for your future. So you always demonstrate your ability and your future goal with concrete action and strategy. So I need that insight from the professor, so I can write with more clearly and concrete actions. Yes. So that's it. Thank you.
That's
And yeah,
no, carry on.
yes. Tips, I hope you found it valuable. So yeah, luckily I got the scholarship. At first I was so happy to be there, and I'm during my study in Bristol, I'm not only get the chance to networking from British Council, like I got 3 trips to across UK to networking with the Green Scholar, the one who also received the climate change scholarship like me, and also from Great Scholarship that I met you in London.
Yes, that's right,
And
me.
they, yes, they are the most amazing people I have ever met, and I even met them again during like when I got a chance to attend COP27. And yes, uh, the scholarship also gave me a boost in my CV that I when yeah, whenever I apply for job or think, they also, oh, you got a great scholarship, tell me more about it. And that's how I love about it. By the way, I want to share that Uni of Bristol also have a Think Big scholarship for anyone who interested in, so you can search yourself, and they also have a amazing development program that I also got to attend because yeah, I'm a scholar in the uni. Mm,
That's
all
brilliant.
my
Thank you, V.
thank
That's
you.
really, I know we had that pleasure of meeting, didn't we, in May? So it's, I think what with the scholarship, it's being part of that community, isn't it, of like-minded
Okay.
students. And that's what's really important. So you've got that network around you. And I think that's why it's so important.
Yes, it is. I learned so much in the past one
Exactly.
year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll come back to you in a minute, V, but I'd like to move to Chima if that's okay, Chima. I love your picture behind you. That's amazing. So I'm really interested to know how the Commonwealth Scholarship you received in 2020 defined your study experience. So could you tell us more about how you came to study in the UK from Nigeria and what that experience has been like? Thank you, Chima.
Oh yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. So for me, it's quite an amazing experience. So mine was a little bit different, you know. We studied during the heat of the pandemic in 2020 when the whole world is on lockdown, and actually that's part of what inspired me to take on the scholarship, because the world is on lockdown. I've always wanted to do something in public health, you know, but just like my thoughts. But the COVID pandemic actually reiterated that fact for me to say, okay, fine, this is actually, you've seen real life experience of why we really need so much knowledge on this to also help back home, and not just in Nigeria, Sub-Saharan Africa, by extension, to solve public health challenges. So what actually helped me, what advice I'll give to prospective scholarship applicants is that, first of all, start early is quite one of the key things that helped me, because with the Commonwealth shared scholarship, the timeline is very short. I think during my time, it was just like roughly 2 to 3 weeks window. So obviously, if you are starting to apply 3 weeks, you definitely would do kind of a crash program. I might not really be able to meet up or put in quality essays. So my advice is to start early. If possible, start before. If you know you apply in 2021, start in 2022, start in 2020 to make preparations. Like now, this is 2022. if you have prospects of applying in 2023, you can start now to start planning. And what our advice is for Commonwealth Shared, go to, they usually have like teams, for example, the health system strengthening, sustainability, climate change, and all. So go to those teams and identify the teams that best suits you. That's right. So a year before, I was always going through that, looking at universities, looking at the courses that were available, and then of course start putting up the applications beforehand. And also, I also advise them as well, in addition to starting on time, try to attend fairs, educational fairs in the UK. There's a lot organized by the British Council, various universities in Nigeria. So attend those fairs. That will even give you much opportunity to speak to those British Council representatives, your university, your choice university representatives, you speak with them, and they also tell you, maybe they can give you an insight on how to apply. That was what even drew me to Newcastle University, because I actually met some of the representatives in Nigeria before the Commonwealth. So I met them, they were so lovely, they were so encouraging. And that was what kind of motivated me to say, okay, fine, I'll go for Newcastle University. And as well, I'll talk to previous, which is very key, ask them, because they can also, you can pick their brains in different areas. They can help you with the insights on what worked for them and what the mistakes they made that you shouldn't make, because it's best to learn from other people's mistake than you making that mistake. So that's one of the key advice for prospect. And then of course, be brave, be courageous, right? Don't be too scared, believe in yourself, because it's a daunting task. Because when you were talking about the data, they have the scholarships and 1,500, you'd be like, wow. When you hear everybody's applying, thousands of people be like, wow, am I able to make it? I'm not going to apply. Just be courageous. What's the worst thing that can happen? You don't get it, you try again. There are different options. So give it a shot. And sometimes you never know, you might be the lucky one. So you don't give up. Even if you don't, I believe, even if you don't get it, you always learn something, because you learn, okay, what didn't I do better? What can I do better the next time? So that's what I believe in. That actually helped me. So back to what my experiences are, I think it was quite a fascinating and fulfilling journey for me. Home in Nigeria, you tend to see the world from only the African perspective, right? But coming to the UK and studying public health and with the pandemic, I kind of saw how the health systems work on a global perspective. Seeing it from different perspectives gives you that eagle eye view of what public health and global health means. And of course, can identify the key areas, just like when you are trying to see something like on the surface, but then we are kind of having that ego, from the top, we are trying to see what the whole thing entails. That's actually what helped me. And luckily for me as well, I was appointed the regional coordinator for Commonwealth during my stay. So I was able to coordinate other Commonwealth scholars in the Northeast region of England. So I networked with a lot of people from different schools, like up to 9 different scholars from 9 different schools. We come together, we networked and get to know each other better. Then one striking thing also that benefited me was that, just like what he was talking about, she's not actually undergoing her own internship. I also did internship as well. I got opportunities to do internship, which also helped me with more experience and improved my competence, the experience, the network, the knowledge, and the skills in public health. Also, Newcastle University have their business, the startup unit in the university. I've always wanted to set up a startup health organization in Nigeria, like a dream, but how to go about it was really a challenge for me. So the Newcastle University startup team, we are quite efficient. So they gave me the opportunity to talk with them. What are your plans? Okay, look at how best to go about it. One fascinating thing about that was when we wanted to start Clearmark, actually, it was like it came as an idea. But for you to start an organization, you need some level of funds to be able to do it, because you can't just, and of course, as a student, I don't have that kind of money to do that. So talking with the finance unit, the startup unit in Newcastle, so they gave me insights on how you can raise funding for a new organization through grants, and of course, how you go about it. And luckily for me, that was how we were able to secure grants from the US. And so some support from the Newcastle University as well, to help that enabled us to kickstart our venture, which has been quite productive. So for me, overall, it's quite fascinating and it's impactful. And yeah, I would really encourage anybody who just to go ahead and get it done and get over the finish line. It's quite, in fact, I wouldn't trade it for anything. If I'm to do it over again, I will do it over again, because it was quite inspiring. And so basically, yeah, it's
go for it.
Yeah, and then also, I also want to say, as a student, if you are in UK and you are trying to study, don't just focus only on the academics, right? Because you just have 1 year to study. Yes, academics, that's what you're coming for. You're coming to do a master's, but then network with people, take internships, attend conferences, because that's where you build those connections, because time flies so fast. If you're on a 1 year course, 12 months flat, and you are done. But if you network, if you attend those, you might even gain much more than you gain from your academic study. And that's why you see people who study online and those who study in person, even though they study the same quality, the same curriculum, but those in person get more because they have opportunities to network, they volunteer, they attend conferences, of which people online didn't really get. So I would advise you to explore more options. Don't just stick to only academics, do academics and get much more experience. There is an adage in Nigeria where they say, when you go to allow the university, don't just pass through the university, allow the university to pass through you. So I will also say,
that's lovely.
If you go to your university in the UK, so if you go to university in the UK, don't just go through the UK university, also allow the UK university to pass through you. So that's my keyword for everyone applying. So thank you, and I'm open to questions and answers.
Yeah, that's a really good, and you've given us some lovely tips about applying for a scholarship. But I think you're right, it's the overall experience, isn't it? It's not just the academic experience, it's gaining overall, because you only have 1 year sometimes, don't you? You've got to make the most of that 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. No, that was brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to move to Nadia, but I will come back to you, Chima, if that's okay. So Nadia, thank you so much for being patient.
That's fine.
You're really good. So can I just talk to you about, you're now working in the STEM field, that's correct, isn't it? So after moving to the UK from your home in Iraq, can you tell us a bit more about your study experience in the UK?
Yeah, I think I'm the living example of what Chima just said. Like I made university come through me. I didn't just focus on getting the degree. I mean, every one of you, once you are in the UK, then you will get the degree because you are worthy, and you wouldn't be there if you were lazy, or if you didn't do your preparation and your studies. However, passing that step of being involved in the community, being involved with all the facilities, with all the opportunities that universities would offer, that would make the challenge. So for me, since I was 10, I fell in love with computers. And when I say that at the age of 10, that would be in the 90s and the 80s, and we didn't even have a computer. But that passion grew with me. I didn't have the opportunities to have my own computer or work with it, and I was determined to finish my studies. So I got my bachelor degree in computer software engineering, and then I got a master degree. But that dream of studying abroad, that stayed with me until I was lucky to have my PhD from the UK. And when I was there, I volunteered with the volunteering office from Brunel University with Code Club. So Code Club is it's a global movement where children come and learn coding for free. And because I had that dream or that shortage of I didn't have anyone to help me or mentor me to help me with STEM, I decided to be that mentor for those young children and those young females. And when we say that studying in the UK will stick to you for your whole life, I mean it. I had the network, I had people who helped me, and we brought those clubs to Iraq because of my experience in the UK. So now in Iraq, we have those clubs. We are supporting women, we are supporting young children, and we became the national partner for the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And I didn't know about any of it until I studied with Brunel and I came to the UK. So studying in the UK, as long as it sounds difficult or sounds scary, it's not, because once you're there, you will find the support. You will find universities are different from our universities. So you will get volunteering experience, you will have counseling centers, you will find someone who would help you doing your CV, prepare you for an interview. The library is full of academics who can help you revise your assignment or even make your timetable. So you will find the support. It's just the step of getting there. Yeah. It's about preparation, and you need, like you said, Elizabeth, you need to do your research. You need to understand what how scholars think of what they want from you, and especially for your personal statement. Like you said, personal statement is your statement. Why do you want to go there? And how being in the UK will change you, what will add you, and what you will bring back with you to your country. So yeah, I guess.
No, what an inspirational story, Nadia. So inspirational. It really, I think this is what's so amazing about international students, is taking that knowledge that you've gained, is taking that experience that you've gained and applying it back in your own country. And I think that's what really inspires me every single day when I speak to international students. It's not just about getting an education, isn't it? It's about then, how can I take that back home? And that's what really inspires me, the things that you do when you return, and keeping a bit of the UK with you as you head back to your own country. That's wonderful. It really is.
Thank you.
Can I ask you all a question? So we talked about, I think Chima said it perfectly, it's not just about the academic experience, it's the overall experience, isn't it? Did you all get the opportunity to explore the UK, and what did you do? I'll ask you, Nadia, because you're still on the screen. What did you get that chance to go around the UK and have a look?
Yeah, of course. So I was a student ambassador when I was at Brunel University. So normally we would, like, every week we would go either to have a day trip in London or go visit different cities. So we went to Bath, we went to Newcastle, and I explored the museums. Like London have those amazing museums, and I've been to the British Council. I went to the St. Paul Cathedral. I climbed 500 steps. So I took the whole experience of being in the UK, and you can do a lot of amazing things. You can taste different foods, and visit too many attractions.
No, and that's what it's about, isn't it, Nadia? Getting that cultural experience I talked about at the beginning, experience those different accents across the UK. We've all got a different accent here in the UK, and it's about understanding those nuances, isn't it, and really exploring it. So that's amazing. Thank you, Nadia. I'm going to get back to Chima. Did you do a lot of exploring, Chima, when you were in the UK?
Especially the Northeast. Yeah, of course, all the Northeast cities, Scotland. We went to Scotland, Edinburgh, the nice historic Harry Potter and all in Edinburgh. It was quite interesting. Then London as well, London Eye and everything. Manchester, yeah, of course I did. I would say I thought all the cities, because there are so many places to go to, but I really thought a lot. But they're fascinating as a football fan. I actually thought stadiums in all of the Premier League stadiums in the UK, most of them, Arsenal, Chelsea, all of them. Because back home in Nigeria, we are very good fans of the Premier League. So we only watch them on the TV. So I was like, wow, so I'm going to see those stadiums in person since I'm in the UK. So I had to explore those stadiums and got to take some nice pictures. It was quite fascinating for me. So yeah, I did.
Good. And are you a fan of any particular football team here, or are you just enjoy football generally?
No, I am Manchester City. Yes, I am.
Oh, Manchester City from where I am. I'm a Manchester City fan as well.
Okay,
so that's
yeah,
why me and you are getting on well, Chima. That's good. That's brilliant. Okay, thank you. And back to V. V, did you do any exploring?
Oh, yes. Thanks to British Council, I got to explore Glasgow, the Scotland, like Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Sheffield. We stay there, and also I explore like Bristol is a very well located city, so I can go to London and back, and even Wales. And what I love about it, like you can just take a 30-minute train to Wales, and it's like different country. So it's lovely, like to be in the UK and you have like 4 tiny I don't know what it's called, but like land. Yeah, so you can explore even more culture when you stay in the UK, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Good. No, that's brilliant. We've got a few more minutes before we finish. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions from people who've joined today. So we've got lots of people attending, which is amazing. I've got just one question left, and I'd just like to, I don't know if you all remember at the beginning of the presentation, I talked about those memories that last a lifetime. If you could think of one memory from your time in the UK, what was it that would stick with you or be with you for the rest of your life? What memory was it? Can you think of anything? Something that amazing happened that you'll always think about in the UK? Don't worry if you can't be. I could go to Nadia. Nadia, have you got one of those experiences?
Yeah. Well, I have many, to be honest.
Oh, you could tell us a couple.
Yeah.
Go on.
Like one memory that I'm really, really proud of is I was awarded the Volunteer of the Year from the Hillingdon from the Mayor of Hillingdon for all my volunteering with the library. Yeah, and in the same day of my graduation, I was awarded the Outstanding Achievement for Volunteering from Brunel University.
Oh, that's lovely, Nadia.
Thank you so much. So yeah, that sticks with me till today, and it's something even my children would be proud of, because they can see you can achieve more than just a degree if you go and study abroad. And hopefully one day my big like my oldest son would come and sit like you guys, the students here, and hopefully to apply for the UK as well.
Oh, that's so lovely, Nadia. And I think that is a memory that will last with you, isn't it? I mean, I attended my 2 of my children graduated this year just because of COVID and everything, so their graduations were a bit late, but they're just such memorable occasions, aren't they? And I think when you see a graduation ceremony, I've never been so touched when I saw international students graduate. You could tell it meant so much to them, and just that experience of getting your degree and qualifying and everything, it just to see the happiness on their faces every time they walked across the stage was just so uplifting. And to get an award for volunteering, Nadia, that's just wonderful. So well done, and congratulations for everyone at Study UK. That's amazing. Thank you. V, have you had any more thoughts? Anything any memories?
Okay.
Oh, have you got one, Chima? You go first then, Chima.
Yeah, I do. So I think I have 2 memories. So mine was that I was a student orator during my graduation. So being on that stage and giving that oratory speech, I've never really given any oratory speech before. So being on the stage on the graduation day with large numbers of students from my class and all, it was like, wow, And my second memory was, I think that was my first day in the UK. So my second, I think that should be my first day in the UK, because that was the first time I'm actually traveled in Europe. So I had the cold weather, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of white people here. So, I was like, wow, So I was a bit like, wow, I was kind of amazed. I was like, wow, and all. So those are like my two key memories. I know that I wouldn't. I was very emotional on the student oratory day. It was quite emotional for me to be on the stage and give speech on behalf of thousands and hundreds of students who are graduating. So it was quite emotional.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Chima, because that's just a really lovely story. And it is quite emotional, isn't it, being part of that and sharing that experience with everybody. And it should be emotional because you've worked so hard as well. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. V, go on. You must have a couple of experiences to share with us.
Oh, yes. I would love to say that will be my graduation, but it will be on February, so I cannot.
Oh, well, we'll need to see those like pictures, V.
Yeah, in the future, but I think I have so many memorable memories. So I'm thinking about the time when we were in Glasgow and I was already so close with the Green Scholar. They are my best friend there already, and we go to a demonstrate during COP. Like that was the first time I ever like attend a like in-person demonstration, and it's amazing to be surrounded by your friends and some others people that share the same like vision and passionate like you. And I think like that is even more interesting than attend the conference itself, because the most like the people are outside COP, they are more passionate than the politics. But yeah.
I think to be part of that COP26 was so important, wasn't it, for you, V?
Yes, that a week in Glasgow, I learned so many things, and I met so many important people that I'm still in contact today. So, oh wow, there's just so many memories.
That's a once in a lifetime experience, isn't it? And which is incredible.
That being like one of the biggest COP in the history.
Yeah. I think what we've done today, I mean, your experiences have been amazing, and I love talking to international students for that reason. And I think just like a couple of things I just like to touch on that we've learned today. I think the first thing, if you are for a scholarship, is being prepared, give yourself time, really do your research. And I think Chima and Nadia all mentioned that. I think the second thing is find the university that's right for you. I don't think it's just thinking I've got to go to the top university in the UK. I think sometimes there might be a better university for you out there, and it's exploring those options. So really do your research about the universities. And then the third one is just taking the opportunity to explore the UK and get those memories that will go back with you to your home country. As V said, making all those friends at COP26, Chima standing up in front of everybody, speaking on behalf of his community, and then Nadia, all the things that she did with the volunteering and everything, and then taking that back to her home country. It's all really important. So I'd really like to thank you on behalf of the British Council and Study UK for taking part today. You have shared so much, and we really do appreciate your support in these events. So just finally, I think that brings us to the end of today's session. I can't see if there's any more questions. I don't know if anybody who's monitoring, if there's been any questions. I can't see any, but we have given you some useful tips. There are some websites there to connect with. So please do, click on those websites and have a look to see what's available there. And especially the Study UK website. It's your first port of call if you're going to consider studying in the UK. So we hope, if you did have any questions, or perhaps you didn't, and perhaps the panel here gave you those answers that you were hoping for. And please do go back to those resources if you have missed anything or you're interested in pursuing studies in the UK. I'd like to thank PTE for sponsoring the event. And if you do have any English requirements, please do go to their website. But do keep an eye out on the Future Abroad platform for any up and coming events in 2023. So thank you to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.